We'll begin with our first weapon, which it was the designated U.S. sniper rifle. It was designated U.S. 1903 A4. It had a 2.5 power scope and 30-06 caliber. It had to be loaded individually because of the scope was prevented a magazine loading. We're going to have that weapons demo now. And this could be accurate out to 1,000 yards. Thank you.
Okay, here we have the U.S. rifle caliber 30 M1. This was the primary rifle used by the United States Army, Marine Corps, and other branches of the U.S. military from 1936 until the early Vietnam years of 1965, and maybe that's about it. But had a long service life. When it was first developed, it was coined by General Patton as being the greatest battle implement ever devised. He said that because of the fact that it was a semi-automatic firearm. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means it's capable of firing without any manual assistance from the user. The weapon you guys just saw was the Springfield rifle, which means it had to have a bolt operated between each shot. Otherwise, after you fired, the gun was no longer serviceable unless someone racked the bolt. This could do it itself. It's semi-automatic. No other nation was fielding a weapon like this at that time. It was definitely a leap forward in military technology and definitely changed the battlefield for the United States during the Second World War. It feeds from an 8-round M-block clip, 36 caliber ammunition. For those of you who don't know what an M-block clip is, I'll be happy to demonstrate it here. I'm going to fire 4 rounds, and then I'm going to fire another 4 rounds. One cool thing about this rifle is at the end you're going to hear a ping. A lot of you guys that play video games are used to the ping at the end. It's a cool sound, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this weapon for you guys.
You open the bolt. This is an M-block clip. Seats onto the firearm just like this. Now it's loaded. I'm going to do 4 rounds of fire. Again, if you have little ones, they may want to cover their ears. I'm going to do another 4 rounds, and this is going to be the ping that everybody likes. At that point, the rifle is ready to be reloaded. Continue the fight. Thank you, guys.
Next, we'll demonstrate the U.S. carbine. It was fed by a 15-round box magazine, detachable. This is one of the only detachable box magazines by a fielded weapon. It fielded a 30 caliber cartridge, which is more along the line of a pistol versus the rifle like you saw with the M1 Garand. It also was semi-automatic. In other words, it would reload itself after each shot. We're going to demonstrate that now. All right, thank you.
Okay, next. Now we're going to go away from anti-personnel and into anti-bunker or tank anti-armor. So this is a bazooka, an M1 bazooka. So it's a 2-man team to fire the bazooka, 1 to shoot it, 1 to load it. The bazooka round was a shape charge on the end there. It had 2 wires hanging from it. the shooter would typically kneel. Now this one's not we're not going to fire this one because we don't want to blow things up today. They won't let us. But they would typically kneel. Yep. Loader would stand behind him.
Sorry.
It's okay. Load in the round. He would then attach the wires to the bazooka. When it's clear, he'd clear up, and then he'd pull the trigger, and the rocket would shoot out the front into a tank, a bunker, whatever they wanted to blow up. And then they'd be ready to load another round. That's it.
Good for the Americans. We're the British. Our weapons are a little bit more traditional than what you see with the American Army. Like the other belligerents of the war, the British Army used a bolt-action rifle as its primary service rifle. Now my compatriot here has an example of the rifle that starts the war. This is the rifle number 1, Mark III of World War I vintage. My rifle is a newer rifle that was introduced in 1941 called the rifle number 4. Both of them function essentially the same. Now we do have a little bit of an advantage over the Germans in that the British infield rifles have a 10-round magazine rather than a 5-round magazine. All of them are fed from the same mechanism of a 5-round charger clip that is inserted into the rifle. But because we have a 10-round magazine, we can hold 2 chargers in our magazine, not just 1, which gives a little bit more firepower to the British soldier. So what I will demonstrate now, or attempt to, depending on how my blanks cooperate, is what is colloquially known as the Mad Minute. It is a relatively high rate of fire that the British Army was trained to, particularly evidenced in the First World War at the Battle of Mons, where you see the British soldiers firing so fast that the Germans thought they were under machine gun fire. During the First World War, the grenade or bomb was introduced as a means of clearing and attacking enemy trenches, and that had a range of about 30 yards when tossed. The mortar had a significantly higher range, but oftentimes it was decided that you needed to get that bomb in an intermediate range. So all of the belligerent armies developed what is called a grenade launcher. This is a device to shoot the grenade out of the rifle. It uses a blank charge to propel the grenade out of the cup launcher. And so my compatriot here is going to demonstrate the use of this to launch a replica hand grenade, as it were, right? Well done. The grenade did not survive.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll have our German weapons demonstration. And be sure everybody stays around for the battle afterwards.
Danke. Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. Unsere deutschen Kameraden hier, der Soldat. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I get into the role. The German weapons had a different philosophy than the Allied. As the British counterpart was saying, their rifles have a 10-round capability. That's very good, and yeah, as a reenactor of German, having 10 rounds in the ammo in the rifle would be nice at times. But the Führer, in his infinite wisdom, said if this 5-round magazine was good enough for me, it's good enough for anybody. So that's what the German soldiers are stuck with, but they had the advantage of having belt-fed machine guns. Unfortunately, we don't have any belt-fed machine guns to demonstrate today because we're a headquarters unit over there. But to show the firepower of the Gewehr K98, we have 2 soldiers here. You'll come out over here. They're going to load a clip of magazine. Each one, clip into the magazine, rather. Each one has 5 rounds. There were 7.62 or 7.92 millimeter Mauser rounds, also known as 8 millimeter Mauser. Gentlemen, if you will do an about face and fire away from the crowd, they will probably really appreciate that. And we'll show you how fast that these things can go, assuming again that our blanks don't mess up. The blanks sometimes expand in the chamber, and if that was a real battle situation, we'd call that embarrassing. Soldaten, Freifeuer! Jetzt! Fire! There we go. And unfortunately, as you can see, our rate of fire is slower than our British counterparts. And yet somehow they took over the continent of Europe. I think those belt-fed machine guns may have helped. Thank you, gentlemen. Now on the squad level, for each 10-man squad, we had 7 of these. Then we had, we had 6 riflemen, 3 guys were on a machine gun team, and a squad leader. The squad leader had the MP40, which will be demonstrated right now. This is a 9mm pistol round that's in this submachine gun, and it had a significantly higher rate of fire. He's going to be firing it slowly today, but it could have a fire rate of 600 rounds plus a minute. When you're ready. This had a folding stock. It could be fired as a carbine. It had roughly the same range as the M1 carbine that the Americans were firing earlier, with slightly less knockdown power, but that was our squad level weapon. Now our British counterparts showed their grenade launcher. When we want to reach out and touch someone at a squad level, we would have the 82mm mortar, which is, they're going to, you folks over there on the road, if you'll turn around, you're about to have a mortar fired over your head. And that had a significantly longer range, I think, what, about 1,000 meters out, and quite an explosion. Of course, you're not going to see the explosion because we don't want to accidentally kill anyone here. That would be rude. So that's what the German weapons display is for you today. And now, back to you.
Okay. Thank everybody.
Hai visto che chiama?
Marquee up there! Marquee! Marquee! Go! Right.
Amen.
Go, come on, come on. Let's see. Looking for... Let's see.
Ora la német látszott.
Where's that French?
A francia ellenállás. Mezikláb. Azok kicsodák.
The Allies are banking up this road on that bridge. They're going to have to try to get across it. I know you can see the Germans are tailgating the sea people, but they pulled out of the crowd now.
Change direction.
How many of these Germans know the people that are involved? They don't. And they don't